I'm here with Pooley, one of the media relations team for Wichita State for the Go Shockers website. Now, I've got a couple questions for you here. How long have you been working with WSU and their media team?
I've been here for 9 months.
9 months. How have you liked your time, and what do you think you've experienced that's helped you most in learning about media?
Let's see. I've learned a lot of different things. Mainly, I've learned a lot about stat crew and keeping statistics for a wide variety of sports: basketball, volleyball, track, even softball and baseball to some extent. Even though I already do a lot about that. Media-wise, learned a lot about proofreading and editing my stories and the importance of doing that. Sometimes I just get lazy and not do that. You know, that's a really good job. So I got that.
Now, what do you wish to do after gaining your experience with Wichita State's media team? What are you hoping to do after that?
Well, initially I always wanted to do something in sports information, but hopefully something along the lines of play for major sporting events.
Like an announcer or something like that.
College baseball, college basketball, college football, even pro football, pro basketball, hockey, anything really, but something along the lines of more broadcast journalism. That's what my initial degree is in. And that's still kind of what my dream is, although I feel like this opportunity is just helping me become more well-rounded, especially since a lot of minor league baseball teams have you doing both the announcing and the media relations job.
Oh, right. Well, that would give you great experience then, already having handled the media side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that we know a little bit about you, what was the focus? Social media has become such a huge thing in reporting, scores, announcements and stuff. What was the focus of reporting of athletics, do you think, before social media hit?
Well, before social media hit, there was always there was a lot more fact-driven. You always had to worry about getting facts, which you still do. But now immediacy, which is still an issue then, is now even more of a paramount thing. You got to have the information out correct and immediately to be able to attract the social media fan base. They're looking for the fastest information. So someone will go on Twitter for their news source now, because newspapers kind of like the story, whereas Twitter, get out there.
Oh yeah, it seems like you can go to ESPN's Twitter and find out almost every information you need to know about sports. What was the process of getting the word out about athletes before huge social media trend?
Once again, it was even before social media started, the web was a big deal. You'd have Shocker website that people would go to get their news from. Now people can get that on Twitter, but even before the website, it was almost like you really had to rely on the newspapers and the TV stations to get that information out. Now with social media, athletic departments like Wichita State really do have a chance to get their own information out and get it out in a timely fashion, so people who care about it can get it quickly.
Yeah. What do you think social media has done to athletes and the way that people perceive them through social media?
I think it's mostly been a favorable thing for athletes. It's been a way for people to see them in a more humanized fashion, because people can then interact with the athlete. Like LeBron James, someone I know does a really good job because it's Shannon Sharp, former NFL tight end, and he always is interacting with his fans. So it gives a way to humanize the
kind of brings them down to earth.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that's great, that big-time athletes will interact with their fans like that.
Absolutely, it's very positive thing.
10 years ago, you'd never have a chance like that. You write fan mail through the mail, and then you usually never hear anything.
Absolutely. I mean, look at Kobe Bryant the other day. There's his Achilles tendon. 8 hours later, he was on Facebook posting all his followers.
Right.
Message about how he's going to come back.
As you can see, we've changed scenery. There was a little problem in Coke Arena, so now we're here in the official media interview room. And to continue on what we were saying, do you think that the basketball team's more recent success has brought a lot more attention to the Go Shockers website?
Absolutely. Anytime things are going good for you, like the Final Four appearance, people are going to be wanting to find out as much information about the team as possible. And there's no better news source for the team than the team's own website, GoShockers.com. And obviously people, for sure, flooded there.
Right, and to get people there that, say we didn't have all this experience or this publicity with the Final Four, what are some of the ways you guys advertise and market the Go Shockers website, to attract new people to look at it and get the word out about Shocker athletics?
Well, we always try to tweet and Facebook links to some of our stories and stuff on the website, as well as trying to promote news stories or try to have the newspaper outlets direct people to our website for schedule changes or anything such as that. As far as other promotional tactics that we use, just trying to do web-based contests like Pin It to Win It.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we have like the 17 for 17, like 17 winners in 17 days contest at the beginning of the year. So just those type of promotions get people to come to the website and try to get free stuff.
Yeah. And do you guys do any like advertising, on any type of billboards or any type of like networks that you try to advertise on specifically to attract people, like certain demographics or?
I know he's done some commercials, like you've seen like the Shocker Vision commercials
right.
On TV. Or like Ron Baker's like brushing his hair who comes in.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I don't know if that's quite directing people to the website, but at least gets people going to YouTube.
It definitely attracts them to Shocker Athletics,
exactly.
for sure.
It gets them thinking about the Shockers and
Right.
stuff. That's what we want them to be doing. So. Yeah.
Now, on social media sites like Twitter, many athletes are getting huge amounts of followers due to media coverage of the basketball team. Do you think it's good for such young athletes to be having everything they post on social media, be viewed by so many people nationwide?
That's a tough question just because, you have those athletes that are attracting so many followers, but at the same time, they're also still students. And obviously the younger generation is flocking to Twitter and Facebook. So obviously they're going to want to be a part of that phenomenon. And it's tough to tell a kid at that age that they can't do something like social media. So basically the best way to ensure that their posts are not being misinterpreted the wrong way is just to kind of monitor their Twitter and make sure that they know the ways to post responsibly, make sure that they understand that basically anything that they post, especially on Twitter, can be viewed by pretty much anybody,
right.
Unless they have a private account. So, once again, once they understand that their tweets can be seen by anyone and that what they say on Twitter could have major repercussions.
Definitely.
I feel like most smart student athletes are able to understand the implications of their actions, and usually do a pretty good job of what they post and how they interact with people.
Well, to think about it, there's also a plus side to having somebody. A lot of people will even pay money to have that kind of marketing, to where that many people are seeing what they're saying. So there's also kind of, marketing your brand. If that many people are viewing you, you have the chance to turn what you say into a positive image of yourself. Kind of project this image of yourself as using, Twitter. If you have that many followers, as a way to, turn yourself into a positive image.
Absolutely, it's a great way to market yourself as a positive person. It's a great way to market yourself as someone who's, down to earth, someone who's, just a good-hearted person too.
Right.
It's a great point.
And to go back a bit here, technology is certainly different from where it was, even 5 to 6 years ago. How do you think media has changed in the way that people get their information versus the Shockers now versus 5 to 6 years ago before, any big online stuff?
Oh, it's insanely different. I've spent 3-4 years in journalism school learning about this. Basically, no one really reads the newspaper anymore. The newspaper is a very, very dying industry. Some people still read the Eagle. Most people get their news on the Eagle's online site, Kansas.com, before they even wake up in the morning. That way, they can get it a lot faster online. They can get it a lot faster on Twitter. They can get their news before that newspaper comes out tomorrow at 6 a.m. or before even the newscast goes live at 10 a.m. or at 10 p.m. You want to, and that's what people want. People want their news now. Immediately, exactly. And they want to wait until 7 a.m. when that paper is thrown on their doorstep to finally be able to get it. So what you're seeing is newspapers trying to shift online coverage, trying to get ads for online content, and really trying to market themselves online more so than they are in their print sections. And that's the same thing. Magazines, you're seeing those kind of shift towards more online kinds of stuff.
It's big time, people are having, companies are having, subscriptions to pay to look at their online stuff almost as the newspaper now,
Absolutely. You have to do that. Some papers have to do that because, they get so much ads in their regular paper that people now aren't seeing. So in order to get money for that content and be able to survive as a newspaper, they have to charge subscription fees, but they have to charge a certain number of ads. So.
And it makes sense, to have to, just trying to stay above water for putting out news.
Absolutely. Journalism as a whole is just shifting away. The daily newspapers could become a thing of the past within 15 years, I guarantee it.
Now, working with, putting out stories about athletes and about teams, working on putting together stories for them, are there ever situations where you try to convey a certain image to the public about a team or an athlete? For example, the way this past season the media had portrayed WSU as this, junkyard dog basketball team, the play angry basketball team. Have you ever tried to do that with an athlete or a sports team?
I haven't really tried to do that myself. I mean, obviously, being the media relations guy from Wichita State, you're trying to be basically a PR guy. You're trying to put the positive spins out there for everything. So, really, I mean, if someone were to read one of my stories, they would think, oh man, everything went great. Even if something didn't go great, you hear about the bad things, you hear about the good things. And I mean, Rain Bolt hasn't given me a good play angry slogan
Yeah.
to go with. But
as far as a track coach, he's a pretty laid back,
right,
easygoing guy. So I can't really see some attitude out of him for that.
Right. The one thing that he said that I've kind of marketed a little bit is that he's called Alafine the greatest athlete in the history of the athletics department on the women's side. And that's something that I've used in several of my press releases to just try and hype her up a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think she deserves it,
Absolutely.
Go check out Alafine Pooley McBolton, greatest athlete ever to come to Wichita State.
Absolutely. Watch out for those press releases about her on GoShockers.com.
There we go. Are you guys here in the media staff ever getting calls from, bigger media coverages to get more in-depth information, kind of inside information about Wichita State's athletic teams or athletes? And if so, are you ever kind of reluctant to give out information so that, GoShockers.com is the best and more exclusive place to get all your information about the Shockers?
Not necessarily. I feel like we have a solid built-in fan base that knows that we are the official site. But for example, with the Final Four that just happened, you have people from CBS, Sports Illustrated, people from basically all of the big national media outlets, ESPN, SB Nation, just all of these big time media outlets. And all that exposure is great because each story will give us a little bit different perspective, and it's a great way to hype up things that we can't even post on our website, like having Greg Marshall and Mike in the morning a couple of times. So it's really cool to have all those national media outlets, and once again, our basketball team did a really, really good job of saying the right things and doing the right things. I mean, I heard Greg's interview with Dan Patrick didn't go well, and Dan also kind of ambushed him a little bit. Yeah. And I mean, overall, it was a very positive and very good, positive marketing tool for Wichita State athletics.
Oh, definitely. The more media attention that Wichita State can get, the better. It seems like they say that there's no bad press. There's nothing bad. I mean, would you say that that's true?
I would have to disagree with that to some extent. There's good press, but I mean, something like what happened at Penn State, obviously, is not good press.
You can't say that all publicity is good publicity.
Right. That's a nightmare. I would never want to be a part of a situation like that. So, but I mean, other than that, I mean, aside from a situation like that, or a situation like they just had at Rutgers, a video of your coach firing the ball to kids' heads.
Yeah.
I mean, most publicity is good publicity, but there's just that occasional thing, like a scandal like that can help you lose favor in the public.
See how you try to want to avoid that, but. Thank you for your insight here on media and social media throughout GoShockers.com, and I really appreciate you working with me. Thank you very much.
Take care.